Hey all, Ryan here from Planetary Lapidary, and welcome to another episode of Lake Michigan Rocks, where I go over rocks that I find on the western shore of Lake Michigan and show you some examples, so you might better identify them on your own. So today we are talking about porphyry. And what porphyry is a finer grained rock, most of the time basalt or rhyolite, that has crystals embedded in there, crystals that grew through. So your textbook piece of porphyry is going to be like this black basalt host rock with these big orange feldspar crystals in here. Could be feldspar or quartz or any inclusions like that. Unfortunately, down where I hunt, it's down southern a little bit, so this is actually the only piece of actual textbook porphyry I've actually ever found, like just with the black and orange, the orangish crystals. So I do find a lot of other variants of it. Obviously, as you can see here, this one is a basalt, and I would call this a porphyry, even though that's probably epidote in there. It's basically the same thing. Epidote pockets that have grown inside of this piece of basalt. A galaxy stone is a good example of that. All the little gas pockets in here. Rhyolite and basalt are both volcanic, so they have all little pockets. So the rate at which they cool depends on the size of the pockets in there. So then all those pockets get filled in with things and solidify. So this is a really good example. You can see all the different pockets that are inside of there. So I definitely consider that a porphyry, the galaxy stone. Here's another one with some big greenish or yellowish crystals in there. Nice little piece. But they're always basically going to look the same. The darker host rock is going to be basalt. It's pretty easy to see basalt. There are some ones that sometimes have smaller impressions in there, like a lot fuller. So this would be borderline porphyry, I think, almost running into like a granite-y type of deal. Rhyolite is the other material that I would come in. I have these three up here. And rhyolite is basically a lighter grained granite, basically. So all of the reddish, it can be like a reddish or brown or even gray color. And then you can see all the crystal impressions in there, the big crystal impressions. So there's a red one. Here's a really beach-worn one. Here, I'll get it wet for you. So here's a really beach-worn one, and I find a lot of these, with the quartz crystals, and then the really beach-worn rhyolite, and then it gets iron stained and things. So all of these orange spots are actually just stains, from being beach-worn so much. And then here's another nice example of it. You can kind of see that host through all of that red and all of those white chunks. And this is generally what a rhyolite porphyry would look like. Sort of almost like a conglomerate, but you can tell that the rhyolite is the base, the host rock and that whole thing there. Another couple examples here. Here's one that just had, another really beach-worn one. So a lot of these bubbles are actually sticking off of here. Basically the basalt wore away before, that whatever solidified in the pockets was harder than the basalt. So that's pretty cool if you ever find anything like that. And then just one more example of a rhyolite here. This is one of those that is, could be rhyolite, could be basalt underneath that, and it's just stained green. But I have seen, rhyolite that's this gray color too, and you can just tell too with all the big crystals in there. But again, like I said, the textbook porphyry that you're gonna see, like if you look it up, is gonna be this one, the basalt with the, orange feldspar in there. But it can be really any color, as you can see, yellow, green, blue, red. There's a lot of different things that can include in there. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys to identify stuff out there in your own rock hunts. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for some close-ups at the end. Other than that, have a good one.